video, we'll look into a scenario in which the borders of Ukraine are changed with multiple peace treaties. But I don't think peace is soon. But if it is, well, it probably won't be favorable to Ukraine at this point due to Russian hold on so much territory. This war started in 2022. Russia failed to take it over. Yeah, they failed to take Kiev. But I think that's because they didn't send enough troops in to actually take over Ukraine. They sent in a fifth of the amount of troops they would need to take it over. So, yeah, bad planning at best. Bad planning. But, as we know, they occupied a big chunk of Luhansk and Donetsk since 2014 because of rebels. And they annexed Crimea. But then there's their occupied territories now, which stretch across Zaporizhzhia, Kherson, Donetsk, Luhansk. They have a bit in Sumy and a bit in Kharkiv and a tiny bit in Dnipro, like 2 feet maybe. Yeah, not that much. And well, one of the peace treaties would be the annexation of all the occupied territories, which looks like this. This is a scenario where Russia annexes all the territories they currently occupy. That includes a small amount of lands there, and then the corridor, and then parts of Donetsk and Luhansk, most of Luhansk, maybe 2/3 of Donetsk. And in this treaty, it would be if what's happening right now happens and the war ends. Likely, this treaty probably wouldn't last because there's nothing unless proper security guarantees are put in place, but even then, there's still the potential Russia would try to gain more lands in the future. It still exists, unlikely. They probably learned their lesson, but you can't leave Putin to it. And then Mr. Trump claims he is the peace creator, but unfortunately, it doesn't look likely this war will actually end. One is, does Russia seem like they want peace? Russia, I'll tell you how to get peace, just leave Ukraine. It's as simple as that. But that's not as simple as that, because, well, Russia withdrawing from Ukraine would lead to a lot of unrest. And I don't think a dictator wants to be ousted. So yeah, they won't do that. And then let's look at this treaty. In this treaty, they annexed all of Donetsk and Luhansk, all the Donbas region. And then they continue down the corridor with territory. And for this one, Russia's had gained a lot. They gained all of the Donetsk, Luhansk. But they don't gain their territories they occupy in Kharkiv and Sumy. Although this is a lot more territory than they occupied. And well, this is also unfavorable to Ukraine because they lose a big chunk of their land, a lot of their people, a few million people. And they lose Crimea, but at least they have Odessa. But then in this treaty, I think Ukraine would need something in return. Whether that would be maybe something, but I can't see this one. This one seems realistic, but I'm still thinking the occupied territory seems more realistic. But now let's go to the next peace treaty option. And, well, they annex all claimed territories from the Shan referendum. Kherson, Zaporizhzhia, all of Donetsk and Luhansk. And, well, this would be very beneficial to Russia. They gain a lot more. But I doubt Ukraine would be willing to give up this much land, more than's occupied. Because why would you just give up your land? And now this one is a Russian victory, which the chances of that happening 0%. They annexed lands along the border in Kharkiv, all of Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kherson, and they occupy a sliver of land here as an occupation zone to prevent future conflict. And while this one I'd call more so also realistic. Russia gains all of the corridor parts of Donetsk and Luhansk, but this is a lot less territory than they would gain. And in this peace treaty, we can see back to 2014 borders. How unlikely is this? 100% unlikely, I think. Most likely because, well, why would you just withdraw from a bunch of land you occupy? Like, then, what's the point? What was their point? And that would lead to a lot of unrest in Russia. An unstable Russia? I don't know what's worse, an unstable Russia or a stable Russia. And then here, well, somehow Ukraine gets a complete victory. This one, yeah, this doesn't exist. Although Ukraine probably wants that, but that's not going to happen. Europe probably wants it too. And maybe most of the world wants this. All the Ukraine supporters would want that. Or this. But this would be unacceptable to most European leaders, I would say. But that's probably one of the most likely ones. This one's unlikely because, well, too much land. This one's unlikely, also too much land being taken. This one's likely because it's not all the occupied territories, but it's unlikely because I think it's too much of the Donbas region. They're not just going to leave their land they occupy there. That would make no sense. And then this one is just occupying the occupied territories. This one, I think, is probably the most realistic, because I don't think Russia is going to accept anything less than this. And if anything less than this is all that's offered, I think Russia would walk away. And well, now for peace, as you can see, there's been thousands, maybe even 100,000 deaths. It's hard to know. And millions of people left Ukraine. This would have greatly weakened Ukraine, greatly weakened it. And now the people coming back, but even then, Ukraine's completely down to, not completely, but big areas of the country are down to rubble, especially in occupied cities by Russia. Russia literally destroyed some of the cities to the ground. Not as easy. So, in a way, even if this happened, Ukraine still lost with all the destruction. But even when Russia gets lands, they also lost because of all the human loss. The loss of human life is excessive on Russia's side. So, like, I don't think either side can actually win. They can gain land, but the cost it came, excessive. And well, we can see that I like these two treaties, mostly because I like Ukraine, but I don't see them as realistic or even a possibility. Because they logically don't make sense. I only see this one as a possibility, and this one as a possibility. And this one is Russia trying to gain as much land as they can, likely failing, and they'll have to go to either occupied territories or slightly less than occupied territories. And well, I think that in the end, peace is needed because, well, it's better than a war continuing that's for one like nothing. They're fighting over nothing, basically. And, well, getting a peace treaty soon could prevent, let's say, a Russian breakthrough, although I doubt one will happen. And for Russia, and for Ukraine, it could prevent them from taking back these territories. And, well, they would want into NATO. I'm sure that Putin will try whatever he can for that not to happen, even though that's probably what Ukraine wants. Well, and if it stays like an active conflict, it's just leading to more destruction. And well, that's pretty much all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, and until you subscribe. Bye, guys.